So let me ask you something. Are you actually connecting with your customers? Or does it feel like you're just shouting into the void? In today's insanely crowded digital world, really understanding your audience is everything. That's why we're going to dig into a new framework that promises a much deeper connection, the 9 levels of customer consciousness.
All right, so here's the game plan for this explainer. First, we're going to talk about why the old rules of marketing are just, well, broken. Then we'll introduce this new map, the 9 levels, and take a journey through each one. After that, we'll build a practical playbook you can actually use. And finally, we'll get to the good part, the real business payoff for thinking this way.
Okay, let's just dive right in with a problem that pretty much every marketer is dealing with right now. The old playbook just doesn't work anymore. The traditional ways we've all been taught to connect with customers, they're falling flat in this hyper-digital age. It is absolutely time for a new approach. And look, let's be super clear here. We're not talking about a little tweak or a minor adjustment. It's a fundamental shift. The marketing rulebook that worked for decades, it's officially obsolete. So what's the deal? Why the big shift? Well, it's simple. The customer has completely changed. With literally all the information in the world at their fingertips, they've become way more selective, way more informed. And they expect, no, they demand, that brands treat them like individuals, not just another number on a spreadsheet. That one-size-fits-all message, it just gets ignored. So if the old map is basically useless, what do? We got to draw a new one, right? The solution is a framework built from the ground up for this modern customer, a whole new way to see their journey and build a real, genuine connection. And the big idea here is this thing called customer consciousness. Now, this goes way beyond just what a customer wants to buy. It's about mapping their entire level of awareness, what they know, how they feel, and how they even think about the problems your product is supposed to solve in the first place. All right, this is where the fun really begins. We're going to walk through this entire journey, step by step. We'll explore each of the 9 levels that take a person from being totally unaware they even have a need, all the way to becoming a passionate cheerleader for a brand. Now, before we jump into all 9, and I know 9 sounds like a lot, it's way easier if you think of them in 3 big stages. First up, you've got the awareness stage, which covers levels 1 through 3. Then we move into the consideration stage, that's levels 4 to 6. And finally, the ultimate goal, the loyalty and advocacy stage, which is levels 7, 8, and 9. So let's start at ground zero, level 1, unconscious need. At this point, the person doesn't even know they have a problem. Your job as a marketer here isn't to sell a product, it's to help them discover a need they never even knew they had. Then, boom, level 2, the light bulb goes on. This is problem recognition. The customer is now fully aware of their pain point. They're sitting there thinking, oh, there has to be a better way to do this. And that's when their search for a solution officially begins. This hunt for an answer brings them to level 3, solution awareness. See the difference? They've gone from, I have a problem, to, hey, there are solutions out there for this problem. They might not know your brand yet, but they're now actively looking for the type of product you offer. And now we're getting into that all-important consideration stage, starting with level 4, brand awareness. This is the moment your brand gets to step into the spotlight. Your marketing helps the customer discover you as a real, specific option to solve their problem. Okay, so once they know about you, they hit level 5, product evaluation. And you know what this looks like, right? They're opening a dozen tabs, comparing features, reading every review, and really scrutinizing their options. This is where your information has to be crystal clear and super compelling to stand out. All that research, all that comparing, it all leads to level 6, the purchase decision. They've picked you. Awesome. Now your number one job is to just make it easy for them. A smooth, simple process is everything, because any little bit of friction can make them change their mind at the last second. But wait, we're not done. The sale is not the end of the journey. We're now at level 7, the post-purchase experience. This is huge. This is where loyalty is either made or completely destroyed. How you treat them after they've given you their money determines if they feel great about their choice or get a nasty case of buyer's remorse. You nail that post-purchase experience, and what happens? You get to level 8, brand loyalty. This is a game changer. This is when a customer stops even looking at your competitors. The need comes up again, and they just come straight back to you. You've earned that trust. And finally, we reach the top of the mountain. Level 9, brand advocacy. This, my friends, is basically marketing nirvana. It's when your best customers become your best marketers, going out of their way to recommend you to their friends and colleagues. They're not just customers anymore, they're genuine fans. So let's just take a breath and look at the whole thing, all laid out. This is the entire roadmap. You can see how the marketing strategy has to change at each step. In the early stages, it's all about education and just getting on their radar. But as you move down, it shifts to proving you're the best choice, and then to nurturing that relationship and turning them into fans. It's the complete journey from a total stranger to an absolute superfan.
Okay, so theory is one thing, but how do you actually use this stuff? Great question. Let's get practical and open up the playbook to see how you put these 9 levels into action.
The absolute key here is matching what you're doing to where the customer is at. So for those early levels, 1 and 2, you're thinking education, right? Blog posts, helpful social media, that's your bread and butter. As they get closer to buying, maybe it's targeted emails that build trust. And for those final loyalty and advocacy stages, you're thinking about things like amazing customer service and loyalty programs that make them feel valued. Everything has its time and place. So, why go through all this trouble? Let's talk about the payoff. Because this isn't just some nice to have marketing philosophy. This drives real, actual, sustainable business growth. And this taps into something even deeper. Check out this stat. A massive 81% of consumers think companies should be actively helping the environment. This shows that people aren't just buying a product anymore, they're buying into what a brand stands for. When you align with their values, that's how you create those true fans in levels 8 and 9. So I want to leave you with a question to chew on. Take a hard look at your own marketing, your messages, how you talk to customers, and ask yourself, what level of consciousness is your business really operating on? And maybe more importantly, what could you achieve if you started mapping the real journey?